Hey, it's Dr. Russell, and today I'm going to talk about stress and hormones. So, what is the connection between stress and hormones? First, let's talk about what a hormone is. That would be really important to know. So, a hormone is basically a chemical messenger that gets distributed in your bloodstream. And when it goes into your bloodstream, it can basically go to any part of your body that has blood supply, which is essentially your entire body. All parts of your body need to have blood supplying it with nutrients as well as taking waste away. So basically, once a hormone's in the blood, it can basically go to all systems of the body. So we worry about hormones if they are too high or they're too low. And one hormone, they're really interesting in that one hormone can affect another hormone, which can affect another hormone. So you can get this cascade effect where you have one hormone, kind of think of it like a web, a hormone web. So when you pull on one part of the web, it's going to affect the entire system. So that's why we worry about hormones, again, if they're too high or low, because again, that has a body-wide effect on all different kinds of systems depending on what hormone we're talking about. So when it comes to stress, if we think about it from an evolution standpoint, this was something that when we were running around back in the caveman era, we had predators and other things that could attack us or, all kinds of crazy things happening. So we had to have a stress response similar to what animals have that was created so we could either fight that thing and attack it back, or we could run away and flee. So that releases certain hormones, which we're going to talk about in a second, that get us ready into that fight or flight mode. However, with today's society, we have all kinds of things that stress us out, right? But they aren't really life-threatening anymore. So that email, even though it might have been really nasty and upset you, it's not generally going to, I haven't heard of anyone dying from an email, right? So, if it's work stress or life stress or family or your house is a mess, even though it's a perceived stress, it still has the same response physiologically in your body as though you were being attacked by a bear. Again, the degrees may vary, but it's still going to release the same hormones. So when it comes to these hormones that are released, we have two main hormones that are going to be released. So the first one is adrenaline, which I'm sure a lot of you have heard, that gets your heart pumping, it gets blood flowing to your lungs and to your extremities. So again, you can either fight or flee and run away. So it basically just increases alertness. So you're more kind of on edge and ready for whatever's coming your way. So that's that first release is adrenaline. Then the second hormone that's released is called cortisol, which you may have heard this. This is more commonly termed the stress hormone. So it is released a few hours after adrenaline if that stress remains. And it's basically initially thought of as a repair hormone. So it comes in and it's anti-inflammatory and repairs any damage that adrenaline may have done. However, the problem is if we're chronically stressed and this hormone, again, stays unnecessarily high for a long period of time, that's where we run into issues. So if we have high levels of cortisol, that can reduce our gut activity. So the opposite of the fight or flight mode or fight or flee is the rest and digest. So if you're always in that fight or flight mode, body's not resting and healing and digesting. So it can cause all kinds of GI issues. It also causes an increased level of insulin, which is a fat storage hormone. We commonly think of it with diabetes, but it does help to store fat. So it can make losing weight kind of difficult. So that's why if you're stressed out, you can gain weight, make it harder to lose weight. Another thing that cortisol can do is reduce your thyroid activity. Thyroid is kind of your master gland that does all kinds of things in the body. So if that's not working properly, that can cause all kinds of issues. And then another thing that cortisol can do if it's in high levels can increase your estrogen. So if your estrogen is high, that's what we call estrogen dominance. And there are certain conditions like endometriosis and fibroids that are associated with estrogen dominance. So as you can see, again, since the hormone is released into the blood, it can have body-wide effects on your thyroid, on your ovaries producing estrogen, on your, fat storage. All kinds of things can happen and go awry when one hormone, right, just one hormone is high from stress. So So when it comes to treatment, it's really important to make sure that we're not only reducing stress, but then repairing any of the damage that's been done and kind of resetting those cortisol levels. So if you think about it, stress is coming at you like from water from a fire hose. Holding up that bucket, maybe to collect that water, would kind of be repairing the damage. But obviously, we need to work on shutting or turning that hose down, right? So that's, again, working on reducing the stress and then repairing the damage. So we have some other videos and articles with tips on stress reduction. So that's, that's a whole other set of things that we can talk about. But something to think about for repairing the damage would be a set of herbs that I like to use called Adaptogens. And those are just herbs that help basically repair the body and help you adapt. I like to think of adapt to stress. So you're not getting that, crazy spike and your body's kind of responding in a more normal way or kind of helping reduce any damage that's been done. So I hope that helps make sense about the stress hormones and what's released. Again, there is this component between one hormone affecting that whole web of hormones. So it's important to make sure that you're reducing your stress response because, again, it is perceived stress, not necessarily actual physical stress. So hopefully you found this helpful. Let us know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you again soon.